Hey guys! Today we'll talk about the Hendrix chord and the neutral blues scale. I'm sure you all know the chord Hendrix is playing in Purple Haze, right? Okay, let me say a few things about it. First of all, this chord has been used long before Hendrix in classical music and of course in jazz and rhythm blues songs. Hendrix used it extensively since the mid-60s, popularizing its use in mainstream rock music, thus the association with his name. Now, how can we use this chord? In a blues framework, it usually has one of two distinct functions. First, it can be used as an altered dominant chord, functioning as a 5 chord in need of resolution to the tonic. Check out these examples. Today, we will focus though in the second function of this chord, as a self-standing tonic chord. So, how can a dissonant chord like that be a stable tonic chord? The answer lies in the 4/7 blues scale. As we have seen by now, the microtonal blues scales are constructed by pitch complexes instead of fixed notes. For instance, the third degree of the 4/7 scale lives in the area from the standard minor third to just below the standard major third. The center of the area between the classical minor and major thirds is the pitch called neutral third. The pitch we choose to bend to depends on the texture we want to create in conjunction with the accompaniment. The ambiguity of the third degree in the blues scale can be very well expressed with the Hendrix chord, which has both thirds in it, resulting in a mixed thirds sound. This chord also has the minor 7th degree in it, another very characteristic note of this scale. In other words, this chord contains the essence of the 4/7 blues scale. Here are some songs that use the Hendrix chord as a tonic. Another way to create this texture is by splitting the chord and having different instruments play parts of it. For instance, in the following song by John Lee Hooker, the second guitarist plays an E7th chord, while the pianist plays an E minor 7th, an octave above. The resulting sound is not a major nor a minor one, but that of a bluesy E7 flat 10. As a side note, I have to say that, in my opinion, the correct way to label this tonic chord is as 7th flat 10 instead of 7th sharp 9, since it's actually a chord that contains both thirds. This spelling can also indicate the function of this tonic chord, differentiating it from the dominant role of the 7th sharp 9. So, let's see what scales we can play in this kind of songs. Until now, we've seen the majoris and minoris scales that are played over major and minor songs respectively. Well, both scales are often used over these songs, depending on the overall texture the artist wants to create and the chord progression underneath. You can even switch from one scale to the other, or utilize other classical modes for an effect. But the scale that I believe fits best is the neutral blues scale. This scale is like the majoris 4/7 scale, but it has a neutral third instead of a majoris one. In order to reach this note, you bend from the minor third to the area in between the two thirds. It sounds like this. Let's see some examples. This scale can also be used over major blues songs, when you don't want to emphasize the major character of the song. The neutral third can also be used over minor blues songs, when you want to overemphasize the bluesiness of a particular phrase. As you may have understood by now, neutral, majorist and minorist blues scales come from a common place. What mainly separates them is the shade of the third degree of the scale, which depending on the circumstances can vary. We could use neutral blues scale as an umbrella term for all of these shades, but I believe the color of the three thirds is quite different, so they deserve to be given separate names, especially for educational purposes. Once you have internalized these blues textures, then you forget everything and follow your instinct, just like all bluesmen do. As I've said in the first lesson, native speakers of the blues language conceptualize the area between the minor and major third as one and the same tone. So it's up to your artistic choice to bend the third or any other degree to the point it feels right. That's all for today. Keep in touch.